Welcome to Realcomm Live. I'm Dustin Sutton with Meissner Commercial Real Estate Services, and today I am honored to be joined by Gary Goutham, Phillips Edison. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely, good to see you.
So before we jump in, could you each just introduce yourself and just briefly what you do?
Sure. My name is Goutham Vulpala. I work for Phillips Edison Co. I'm the IT Enterprise Applications, part of the IT Enterprise Applications team. Gary is my boss here.
Yep, I'm Gary Bailey, CIO at Phillips Edison Co. Been with the organization for 20 years now.
All right, and so this is really exciting for me because we're talking about Agentic AI. And so for those that aren't familiar with it, or even if they are, could you in your words briefly just say, what is Agentic AI?
It's funny because we had a session yesterday at 3 p.m. and our first slide was, what is Agentic AI? And we thought we were going to be the first to bring up the concept of Agentic AI at 3. And I think I had heard that term at least 3,000 times before we had that slide. So it's all over the conference here. But Agentic AI for us is really taking what we had previously with AI agents that were just personal efficiency tools and actually driving them to automate full end-to-end processes, right? So it's a little bit of RPA with intelligence. And technical.
Yeah, to go into the technical definition of a true AI agent is an AI agent has a goal, autonomous goal, and then it has elements of planning that it needs to plan to accomplish the goal. You tell the AI agent all the tools that are available to it to accomplish the goal. And then as part of it, it does planning, it has memory, and it saves memory whenever it needs to. And it hands off the memory that it has saved to other agents, so it can come up with a comprehensive goal that it needs to accomplish with the tools that it's been given to. Think of it as a digital worker. It's very similar to a person doing the work. Like for example, when we are given a goal, we figure out, we create a plan, and then we say, what resources do I have access to accomplish the goal that I need to? And then from there, you use your resources, you plan it, and you accomplish the task. It's just Agentic AI is machines doing all this on their own.
So there's so many things that are in the life cycle of commercial real estate and how things go. And a lot of people think that maybe you could just sprinkle AI on this and that and that, and they can really be applied in so many different ways. Tell me, in your opinion, where is the biggest impact along the life cycle of commercial real estate where you see Agentic AI having an impact?
So I think every business process is ripe for Agentic AI. Obviously, anything that you've been able to digitize in the past, whether that's through traditional workflows or whether that's through RPA, now is ripe for that. The way that we're tackling the problem is we're looking at the ingress points of our business, right? So acquisitions of our assets, that's the ingress point for our processes, and also prospecting leases. So we want to take those two ingress points and try to automate as many of those as we possibly can, leaving human interaction points in between, right? Either they're processes that haven't quite yet been defined in a way that we can put AI on top of it, or we just physically need a human checkpoint there. So we're going to continue to build that out through our entire workflow of our process as a business, and build on that internally. And as we start to gain trust with these Agentic AI agents, we'll start to peel back those layers of human interaction to fully automate the processes. But I think you really got to take the approach and look at where you want to tackle them from a business perspective, but I don't think there's anything out of the limits.
Yeah, I agree with Gary. There is no process out of bounds for Agentic AI. It really depends on the maturity level of your organization and where you are in your AI transformation to figure out which use cases that you need to start with. We started with the lowest base case for Agentic AI. We call it Agentic Workflow. We automated our invoice process. There was a little bit of intelligence that needed to be sprinkled around a very well-defined automated process where we needed to figure out how to assign the invoices that we get to the right GL codes and put it in the right workflow and stuff like that. That's where we started off our agentic journey. That was not true agentic AI. It was more of an agentic AI, agentic workflow. That's the base level. And then right now we're working on semi-autonomous AI agents, which Gary alluded to earlier, our acquisitions due diligence process. As part of our acquisitions due diligence, there is 4 loosely defined semi-autonomous AI agents. One of them does the lease due diligence. One of them does the market intelligence. We also need to do the financial due diligence. We also need to summarize the risks and opportunities with our tenant interviews. So all these 4 distinct AI agents are kind of stitched together with an orchestrator that's going to kick off a process as soon as we sign an NDA with the property that we are acquiring and we get the documents, and all these agents go independently, do their work, produce their memory, and once all their memory is consolidated, you get the final IC memo that's drafted by this orchestrator agent, which is a combination of all the memories that it's accumulated while doing whatever it needs to do. So that's the active project that we're working on. We have a ton of use cases and backlog, and I was just talking to Gary. He has been great so far providing me the resources, and I always move the yardstick with Gary. He gives me an inch, I ask for a mile. He says, I said, I need 2 resources, Gary, and the moment he gives me 2, I said, I need 2 more.
Yeah, well, so is that all? Like, that's a lot that you're working on, that you're doing. But to your point, Gary, about like the acquisitions and me working in commercial real estate for almost 2 decades. The sexy part has always been acquisitions, right? Sure. Like that's where the big money is. The leasing and dispositions and all those things. So that's really interesting to see. Like that's where you guys are tackling. But to your point and what you're saying about how the sausage is made and all those processes, where is the balance between automation and accountability? Because the more you're having AI do, and then I can imagine the user or the person in that case kind of be like, well, it's not me, it's the AI. Like, where does that balance?
So I think that's where those human touch points come in early in the equation, right? And then being able to have auditability of what the agent did and why they did that. So if you look at, and Goutham can talk a little bit more technically about how that works, but from a memory perspective, having that traceability of how the agent came up with that decisioning, so you can start to benchmark that and make sure that before you pull the human out of the loop on any of these agentic processes, that it's making sound decisions.
So there's some checkpoints, but there's some stop gaps in between there.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're not going. We're still in the Tesla self-driving. You still need to put your hands on the steering wheel every 60 seconds, right? Yeah. We're not letting the car go completely off the rails yet.
Well, so I want to ask you guys a question. Make sure we get this out before we run out of time here shortly. In your journey, because you've been in this for a few years now, working in this, and I know it's not linear. There's ups and downs. There's lessons learned. Is there anything that really surprised you so far, that really jumped out, that you were like, wow, this is big. This is the moment.
No, as soon as ChatGPT came out, I mean, Gary and I have been in technology industry prior to 2000. We have seen internet, we have seen mobile, we have seen cloud, we have seen all these technologies. As soon as ChatGPT came out and generative AI came out, this looked entirely different from what we have seen. This is truly transformational. This is not like the previous technologies. And we are both very passionate about technology, and it just feels different this time. Having gone through so many stages of changes in technology, that's when we got started. As part of a journey, the first thing that we had to do was go to our department heads and introduce them to this technology and tell them what this technology could do. We had to get our organization hands on ChatGPT, but within the framework of governance. So we recreated our own version of Teams ChatGPT, working with Microsoft. And then from then on, we started looking for use cases where we could leverage the APIs that we had access to. And then that's how our journey started. And we were all about laying the platform. The fundamental things that we need is your data strategy, your data governance, your everything layout.
So that being surprising. Do you still feel the same amount of energy as when this first came about? Do you feel it all the time?
We were just sitting at the table over there, just rallying each other up again, like with just the passion that we have. And just to build on what Goutham said, I think what's different about this and what surprised us about this is just the pace. I mean, the amount of capital that's being pushed into this technology, the pace that it's increasing at is just unbelievable, and we're on for the ride, man. It's fun.
Yeah, well, I'm really excited for you, and everything that I've seen of you and your company and everything that you're doing, it's extremely exciting. So you're at the cutting edge and the tip of the spear. So thank you guys both.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you, Dustin.